The time is now. The currency war of a century. It's going down in front of our eyes. We have a 5-star general from some of the most nefarious corners of world finance leading up the charge, causing chaos. Welcome to the fucking Thunderdome, baby. Welcome to the blockchain basement. Oh my God, what a day. Welcome everyone to the show here. Big Isaac's going to be pulling in here soon. He was here earlier this morning. They're moving a lot of random things around. Multiple businesses of ours here. You can come up with your own cabal ideas from that, but I am so excited for this market. You guys, while I was dead asleep in my bed, sick ridden, I pulled off the biggest trade I've ever done. It was huge. I'm feeling great. I'm gonna have to fix that wide shot. But for anyone that's been looking for volatility, I told you earlier, we got it. It's here. I took advantage of it and made, I think, the biggest monetary value trade I've ever done. So if you're out there, if you're riding the craziness of this market with me, make sure to use the links. We actually have some really cool things with our partners. I know 2bit is a great spot. And every one of these, like L-Bank, has excellent internal controls on the phone. So if you're tracking the trades and you're looking for moving averages in an easy to use way, I absolutely love L-Bank for that. Also, we have great speed on 2bit and BTCC. I mean, these are great ones. So if you're interested in trading the volatility, make sure to join us there. We got links down in the description for it. Something big that I saw that L-Bank is doing for us right now, and this is kind of crazy. I know it's Discover in general. I'll see if I pull this over. I'm going to share this tab instead. Let's share this tab instead. So let's see here. Remove. How am I going to do this? There it is. Okay. So with this, you can get up. There's a lot of cashback rewards, and it's all based on volume. So essentially, if you're out there trading and you are using heavy volume, you click the link in the description. It is a overall Discover Crypto link because we are, of course, a hit network brand, but you get some insane rewards for getting involved with that. So make sure to take advantage of this. You know, anyone that's brave enough to trade this market, I commend you. We are at the crescendo of really a new era. It's going to be painful. And I've been saying it for, I think, God damn, like about a year. Ever since I saw Trump had the potential of becoming the president, I was like, he's going to win and all hell's going to break loose because he's going to try to dismantle the existing structure of China taking over America. It's going to get ugly. There will be blood. Boy, howdy, is there blood. Why don't we hop on over to the blood here real quick? We're going to take a look at the chat. But first, shout out to everyone that's joining me on the show. Tobias Jenkins, Diaries of a Strip Club DJ, Diesel. What do we got here? Kyle Watts, Chastity, Boogaloo Bum, Juicy Does. Good to see you. Papa Poon up in the chat. Joshua Tanaga. I did see Arena streaming is live, so I gotta get on. I talked to the team before I got sick. I need to get back on that and get streaming on the Arena as well. Cali Crypto Dude, what is up? Cali Crypto Dude, I think I see you streaming your own shows as well. Let me know if that's you on the X. Papa Pat McCrotch and Shotgun Wanda Bob, all the good dudes. Now, what we have here is chaos. Okay, I'm gonna maybe make this a dual tab so I can control both. I got 3 control mechanisms I'm using here. So, all right, let's go into this. Boom, there we go. So here is the weekly for Bitcoin. Looking pretty scary, right? Got a lot of people concerned. I got excited about being able to clip longs back into the market once I saw us bounce off the 74 spot. The last long that I did, it was not actually, I still have one long in on my L-Bank account that is up, I know, over 100% even with this pullback. Let me see where this one is real quick. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up. Where is L-Bank? I use L-Bank on my phone. I just love the phone interaction on L-Bank. I'm a little addicted. So this long still up by 120. I got it in at 75.1. So it's up 120%. But these ones were the big ones. I love this. And also, if anyone's looking for eggs, I'm your guy. I'm your guy for eggs. This was the biggest monetary trade of my history, 240%. I'm so damn happy with it. I love the volatility coming back to the market. But you know what? The volatility is scaring a lot of people. And I will say this, like, if you're not ready for gut wrenching moves in the market, it's probably not going to be your market. Okay, because we are going to have massive, massive swings in the market, especially with the news that just broke right before we went live, that, in my opinion, played in to this recent major pullback once again. Let's pull up the old graph here and see what we're looking at. So this is the monthly or the weekly chart on Bitcoin. Sitting here at 78.7 currently. We started the morning off much higher than this. Let's go to the 1 hour just to show you what I'm looking at. We were trying to build our little shelf. But when you're really looking at this, using these Fu Manchu cipher V or just any cipher indicator is pretty damn useful. Printed the red dot. You could see money flow is headed back to the downside. I mean, this is all in play before the new headline hit. And on the 4 hour, it was pretty clear. I like the 4 hour a lot just to kind of get a good feel. And what I am hopeful for is that we can capture and hold at this kind of internal volume profile that's been created in this W pattern. Be very bad to break below the overall W pattern, but on the 4 hour, it printed that red dot right before the cascade. So interesting stuff to note when you are trading. And in general, when I'm looking to get these trades in, I'm watching more so the shorter time frames. The 15-minute printing that green dot right now. Holy shit. I wasn't live. Oh, I mean, obviously stop loss. I believe in I know Jay Change was talking, he kind of thinks I'm crazy for using stop losses. I still use them, man. I like to live to fight another day if the trade fails. But in general, we are kind of in the girth of the midpoint of that W pattern right now. I wasn't live. And that's the thing is, like, I had all the time to just stare at the charts as I couldn't even talk yesterday. So the best thing I could do was trade. But we did see some pretty big news break right before I went live that I do think plays into why we saw just this massive, massive move in the markets here. I'll share this tab instead. I'm getting this down. This is great. All right. So U.S. tariffs on China now total 145%. This might include the additional 104% on top of the 30%. But really, this is an absolute tug of war. This is an arm wrestling match of a century. And I'm going to be talking about what we are looking at because things are going to get quite interesting. And if we do not see any concessions on these trade tariff conversations, it's going to be quite a few years of pain as we lean into redoing the manufacturing sector here in the United States. But with that, great upside in fiat mining abilities for us as Americans when we see industry come back to our country. So you got to take that into account. We got Ducey round-tripped 7x Arweave bag. Since lost confidence in how much hype the storage narrative can get this year. Going to swap an Arrow. Yeah, I mean, look at Arweave is decent, but the narrative is DeFi. The narrative is like treasury-backed stable coins. The narrative is more macro. And think about how much competition there is in storage-based systems. There is a little bit of headwinds that's going against right there. But in general, I could say any project that can really capture the limelight, and really the focus from not just the crypto people on X, but of actual utility, I think is going to be a pretty good move. Aerodrome, I really am not worried about it. Regardless of the massive pullback, I'm not worried about Aerodrome. And technically, I'm flatline on my entry points. I think that this is a disgusting entry point on Aerodrome, and I think Coinbase is going to continue reigning supreme in this battle against Binance. Also, I heard they're bringing back wolves from like 10,000 years ago. Is it good? First of all, before I go, is it good or bad to bring back genetics of extinct animals? Is that a bad thing? Right? I kind of feel like we might be playing, trying to play the god at 13,000 years. Jesus. Is the wolf? Mr. Mark, what is the wolf's name? There's some wolf that's been extinct for a while. This gave me complete Jurassic Park vibes. This is a point of view 5 years after they brought back the dire wolf. You're going to be driving down the highway running into a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex. And that's where we've gone real wrong. We've gone real wrong in the is this dire wolf. Okay. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I really don't. And maybe people think, oh, you're terrible. We should bring back everything that's been lost. Did we not learn anything from Jurassic Park? Correct. Slogan. Oh my God. So this week we've had some breakneck volatility and good point. And I will emphasize this. This is chaos zone. So if you're not into crypto for the ethos and the actual application of Bitcoin becoming the new world reserve currency through this chaos, humbly step back, because you are going to lose money from these pullbacks. If you are, this is the average thing that I see is that people find a project while it's in the middle of a bullish narrative and they will YOLO in regardless of how high the project's valuation is. And then the pullback happens and max pain happens. That's not what I want to see happen to people. So come on, guys. Your girlfriends will want a baby velociraptor as a pet. That is terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. I mean, Hoover is basically like a small velociraptor in and of himself. So this is a great post from Lark Davis. The bull market back on in his eyes. A lot of people are going to argue he's wrong because we've had that short-term pullback, but tariff headlines and risk largely removed as 90 days gives time to work out deals across the board. Global M2 pumping with correlation anytime from now until the end of April. Rate cuts coming. I would say that they're coming in June. I don't think pump until June. What I disagree with is that we're going to have extreme chop and psyopness until June. Which, if we're looking at the charts, let's go look at the charts in relevance to June, the time frame. June's all the way out here. So we have some time, absolutely, to chop around and writhe around in these, upper 70s, lower 80s realm. What I do like seeing is that we bounce off this kind of old school midterm shelf here. This is a shelf created about 74.5 up to 77.2. That is, historically created a good volume node for us. We did bounce off of it. And really, all right, I'm going to shoot from the hip here. We're going to the weekly. So if I were a betting man, which I absolutely am, I think that we're going to writhe around and play around until June when we see those rate cuts. And if you backed up and looked at this graph from a monthly perspective, isn't shit. Really, this is just a generalized 30% pullback in the middle of an overall bull market, which we absolutely did see last bull market, which shook a lot of people to their core as well. Again, this pullback right here in the February timeframe of 2021, 32%, scared the shit out of people. I think we're going to have a little bit more time to chop because of how much macroeconomic uncertainty has just been unrivaled on the world. But it is what it is, and things like this, for me, are worth it because I've seen industry leave the United States basically my whole damn life. All I've known in my existence is seeing American workers lose and it's aggravated, especially my wife, to the core, where it's like all we see, America's biggest portions of GDP are made out of how sick the country is. I mean, that's pathetic. GDP being created out of how big your government is, that's pathetic. We need to turn this table. We need to flip this system on its head. And that is exactly what Trump is doing. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be some pretty predictable thing. But you know what? People across the world are seeing this. And I love this video. This is something that Disney should do. I completely think that they should pull this off. Let's do this. Let's pull this up. Let's see here. I'm going into this. 死んだ。初めて俺に伝えている。絶望の匂いだ。面白いことにしようか。ほら、こんなに価値が多すぎて。お父さん。あかん。ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。アメリカ、万歳。
Fight off. 絶対負けないよ。ランドトライドまで。ゼロ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。おい、仲良くしてるね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだ。大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そう。言い張らせるで。
Oh my God. I completely agree. That would sell. That's the anime they need to come out with. But you know what? Let's get into all the actual thoughts here because there is something big coming. A global reserve change, a shift in what backs finance as we know it. Here we have Congressman Bigick talking about the U.S. getting ready to buy 1 million Bitcoin. Now, the time frame for this I've discussed earlier. I think that this time frame is actually going to begin in 2026. But let's have a listen to what these fellas are thinking in terms of America and our importance in this global finance market.
The Bitcoin Act establishes the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, a federal initiative to ensure that the United States holds a meaningful position in the most important decentralized financial network on Earth. With an eye to fiscal responsibility and innovation, the legislation outlines a plan to phase in the acquisition of up to 1 million Bitcoin, or roughly 5% of its total final supply over 5 years. Importantly, this will be done without raising taxes or increasing government debt. The Bitcoin Act is designed to be budget neutral, relying on Federal Reserve remittances, which exceeded $76 billion in 2023, gold certificate revaluations, unlocking additional capital without new...
Ooh, boy. Okay. Gold certificate revaluations. That's a shitload of money. If they revaluate the gold where it's actually selling on spot right now instead of this $34 an ounce bullshit, that is a shit ton of money.
Spending and updates to the Exchange Stabilization Fund. These mechanisms allow us to build a strategic reserve without burdening taxpayers, while also potentially offsetting long-term national debt.
Damn. Think about the context of this. We sit on all the gold. We take the gold standard away in 1971. We sit on it, act like it's worth $34 a unit, all the way on up to 2025, then revalue it 2026 and YOLO into Bitcoin. Holy shit. What a insane play right there. You have to think, maybe they have been planning this since DARPA potentially created Bitcoin in the 70s. Just a thought. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. The time frames match up. SHA 256, mid 70s. Maybe. Now I got some great thoughts from different analysts that I want to take a look at for people to be prepared for both ends of the coin here. Just so you know, after dipping below 80K days ago, we saw a bounce yesterday, but that has been wiped out. Not completely wiped out, but man, that newest headline, Trump paused the tariffs and Bitcoin went nearly 8% from 74K. The news flipped the market from fear to FOMO, and even alts went up over 10%. Right now, we're sitting at that 80 zone. That's been lost momentarily since the 90-day pause. We could see some upside for a while. Everyone's got their theories, but one thing is clear. There is volatility. Does this bounce have legs or just a pause before another drop? For now, Bitcoin is holding, crypto Twitter speculating, memeing, and waiting for the next big candle. I do want to get kind of a vibe check in the crowd. Do you guys feel like we're going to break below that W pattern built at 74K? Do you feel like it's chop? Or do you feel like, because a lot of people have been calling for just a giga bounce and something like the COVID crash resurgence. A lot of people have been calling for something like this, even in this COVID resurgence, it took us some time. Let's measure. So from the COVID resurgence back to where we were, took about 2 months. So that was 2 months, even though it was in aggregate, when you look at this thing, it, looked like it snapped back very quickly, but it's actually 2 months of capturing that price level back from where we are right now. Let's look at that. If it was COVID-esque, from the pullback. We got to check it out here. Let's see what 2 months would be. Right there in June 25th. Okay. So that's kind of lining up with what I was talking about. If it is COVID structure, but I do want your guys' opinion. Like, there's a lot of people that are looking for entry points in the $60,000 range. And then I don't blame you for sitting there. I mean, we have massive amounts of volatility coming into the market. Not so crazy to think about. All of these pullbacks and suppression on these charts, to me, are a damn gift, because the system, the credit markets, the commercial real estate, the single family industry, not to mention the real estate within China, are all breaking. And something major needs to happen for these powers that be to keep the system moving forward. This is a great trader, Follis. I want to look at his latest thoughts on this. He's looking for us to flip 90K before everyone starts talking about some, major upside. For me, I'm just bullish on Bitcoin in the long term of it anyways. The previous point of control was sitting here at about, that's why everyone's looking for it. It's about 63K, just over 62K right there. The important level and the top end of the volume node that we had previously broken out of to make it to this shelf sits here at about $70,000 flat. We got damn close. My God, we got damn close. It was good seeing us bounce off of that. What up, Brianna? Welcome to the show. Brianna, we got some big stuff to talk about after the show. Okay. So just remind me about that. I'm going to be on. I am currently drinking pre-workout. Things might get out of hand. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. The USA only needs to invest $80 billion into Bitcoin to get 1 million Bitcoin. Take some of that Fort Knox gold to buy Bitcoin. Absolutely, man. Just what a move. What a move. You sit on that amount of gold for what's it been, 50, 60 years, and then you leave the price at like 35 on the books, $35 an ounce, and then now you revalue it at $3,000 an ounce. Take that, swap it into Bitcoin. Holy shit, what a move. The White House is trolling us. Let him cook. It's one of the latest messages from the White House. If I had a person come to me and tell me that Donald Trump was going to be shit posted and let him cook from an official government account 5 years ago, I'd say you're crazy. Say you're crazy. Here we are. I am letting him cook. And this is the sentiment coming out of the orange one right now, based on a lack of respect that China has shown the world markets. He is hereby raising tariffs charged to China, the United States, to 125%. And as I shown right before I went live, it's now 145%, even higher, effective immediately at some point, hopefully in the near future. China will realize the days of ripping off the United States and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called for the representatives of the U.S., including the Department of Commerce, the Treasury, to negotiate a solution of the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs. But here it is. This is a currency war and currency manipulation and non-monetary tariffs. And these countries have not, at the strongest suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the U.S. He's authorized that 90-day pause to get things figured out. Absolutely crazy, though. Major moves, scares the shit out of the markets. And even Amazon, given a little bit of warning, they canceled inventory orders from China due to the tariffs. And they have warned of higher prices in the short term. Whew, man, it's getting hot and heavy. And a lot of these ideas that we have of these cheap plastic goods being available all the time from Walmart, if we don't see some major concessions or deals made, this is where being a prepper is useful. This is hold up here. Let me see if I want to read this. This is, oh my God. Okay, this is crazy. He's also planning to pull funding from sanctuary cities, disgracing our country, and are being mocked all over the world now, working on papers to withhold all federal funding from any city or state that allows these death traps to exist, highlighting sanctuary cities. I'm here for it. Also, we've had some conversation about where the taxation should really be. Grant Cardone calling to get rid of federal income taxes. They fund crooked politicians and not infrastructure. There's a lot to be said there. Because they lost track of 1.2 trillion bucks on their latest report from Doge, and the overall income from taxes on the average person comes at about 1.2 to 1.4 trillion dollars within the year. They're literally losing the entire fucking basket that they're taxing us, and then we're the problem, right? We're the problem. The average person, they lose track of all the money we pay them to stay out of jail, and then it's just gone. It's off to the wind. Absolutely crazy. Newsom for president. I would rather our entire country not light on fire from, basically just leaving it to the wayside here. That's probably one of the more terrifying ideas. Newsom for president. You're giving me new nightmares with that idea. Please, for the love of God. Now, with all this, Goldman Sachs coming out here, and I think that Mr. Isaac, he said these a little differently than I wanted them, but Goldman Sachs further lowered the S&P 500 end of year forecast to 5,700. If there's a recession, could fall to 4,600. But I have another one here from Goldman Sachs that I wanted to put in tandem with this. Here it is. Goldman Sachs has now rescinded their recession prediction following the Trump tariff pause. But you know what? They're going to go on and off about this over and over again with every single damn announcement. Recession on, recession off. Definition of a recession changed. They're going to keep playing us like fiddles. If we're not seeing past the bullshit and beyond what they say, the system is broken. It's collapsing into crypto and crypto products. And we're here for it because we're front running the world's largest financial systems on the planet. Is Trump live now? Link me if he is live. Put a link in the chat if he actually is live. Maybe we should check that out. Also saw this. Inflation has fallen to 2.4%, lower than expectations. A good sign for the average purchaser. But, I kind of doubt that this is going to hold. I think this is a momentary kind of deflationary thing. We have all the people, stagflationary warners are idiots. There's no worry of stagflation. Retail is great. Retail is not great. They're surviving off credit cards. You numbskull. So now we got to get into the deep stuff here. We're getting into the deep stuff. Let's do it. But let's go to the jobs claim first. So jobless claims are up just slightly. It looks like we have March weekly count continuing claims down 43 and jobless claims unrevised. Okay, so that's not a big deal. All this shit, honestly, the system's broken. People are out of jobs. It'd be nice if they start admitting it. What I really feel like is coming is a new Bretton Woods movement. This is posted as well from Digital Perspectives. A new monetary infrastructure will be included. This is highlighting what Scott Bessent is leading the Treasury. These are some words from Scott Bessent before the election. In the next few years, we're going to have some kind of grand economic reordering, something equivalent to a new Bretton Woods. There's a very good chance that happens in the next 4 years, and he would like to be a part of it. Well, buddy, you got your chance to be a part of it. Now, Scott Bessent leads the Treasury of the United States. In some context on why this guy is so experienced in being what I'd like to call a, kind of like a 5-star general of currency wars. He's got a crazy history. He's got a history with the Bank of England, tied to his role as one of the most influential financial events of the 20th century, the 1992 sterling crisis, often referred to as Black Wednesday. Okay, the age of 29 years old. Bessent was working with the Soros Fund Management hedge fund led by, of course, Jorge Soros himself, a key member of a small team that executed a massive speculative trade against the British pound. The United Kingdom was part of the European exchange rate mechanism at the time of the ERM. I'm just going through so everyone understands where this guy comes from. Okay, the ERM was basically required to maintain the pound's value within a narrow band against other European currencies here, particularly against the Deutsche Mark. Besant, based in London at the time, the head of Soros management of the European allocation, analyzed the UK economy, and he identified a critical vulnerability. The pound was overvalued relative to Britain's economic conditions and the country's housing market, heavily reliant on variable rate mortgages. Some key words there. He noticed a very specific weakness in the British pound sterling and the economic conditions on their housing market. So, with this insight, he realized that the Bank of England would struggle to defend the currency if it was actually pressured. He took this information. The fund amassed a $10 billion short against the pound, betting it would fall. On September 16th, Black Wednesday, the Bank of England attempted to prop up the currency by raising interest rates from 10% to 12%, briefly signaling a further increase while spending billions in foreign reserves to buy pound, hoisting up their own bags, right? Make sure everything looks okay. Very interesting. Now, we look at this in the grander scheme of things. The phrase broke the Bank of England, dramatic shorthand. The institution itself didn't collapse, but the monetary policy was humiliated. The UK government suffered significant economic and political fallout. The central role showcased his ability to spot systemic weakness in financial systems. Well, boys, ladies and gentlemen, he is noting some financial weaknesses. Now, with this information, we are hopping on over to the charts. We're hopping on over to the Forex charts here. Let's check it out. Let's check out the Chinese yuan. I keep going to the wrong button to push here. Okay. So we're going on larger time frames. We're going to go to the monthly, and this is the Chinese yuan compared to the US dollar. Now, what I see, this is the CNY to the USD. Well, it had its short-term peak here in January 2014 and has been on a very, very chaotic ride downhill since then. And when we look at what is the real weakness behind China, what levers could Mr. Besant pull against China? Well, it is this: their real estate market. And this is a great visualization from War for the West. To be clear, China has been listening to the same Ivy League hacks that have destroyed our real economy here in the US. The real estate bubble is far worse in China. It has already been propped up, but they are literally trying to freeze it for political purposes. This alone has destroyed the promise of greater prosperity for the Chinese people, and they are pissed off. And there's some major context to this. Many people in China go into real estate to try to protect their money, to try to protect their value. The system is failing them. Let's take a look at this graphic here. I'll go full screen so we can really see this. So what we have here, the 2008 drawdown down 65% in the global financial crisis. Another 26% pull down when the property sector tightened measures such as home purchase restrictions. 2014 had a 9% little bump in the road from the housing oversupply and the Caixia's dollar bond default. 2020 with the COVID lockdowns, which really wasn't shit. Property sector in 2018 tightening as shadow banking curbs. And this is where the note of Evergrande's failure was starting to be discussed on a public platform. Then we go to 2021 and 2022. This is where shit broke in half. Evergrande's fallout and China's property debt crisis and the default cascade begins. This is overlaid with their currency. Okay, so these are very, very important things to understand. We understand why is the system broken? Why would the world be now moving to a new monetary policy and a new leader? This is very important to look at. So we have this overlaid with the current situation, the 2023 drawdown of 64% from this local top here, a double dip in property markets, downturning over the short-lived reopening recovery. And now, why is this happening? It's because they have literally been building entire cities that are not lived in. They have been cooking the books well beyond expectations. And here is where Trump cometh. And the reckoning of Besant seeing this weakness is probably going to happen. We talked about the tariffs, sure. But the real weakness in the real estate market, not just commercial, but residential, is very, very real for China. If they don't address it, it's going to get disgusting. And huge shout out to Elevator Man for dropping 5 memberships to the blockchain basement. You absolute G. My God. You know what? Elevator Man, I don't know if you're ever in Georgia, you better hit me up, but I hope you're going to Bitcoin Vegas. If possible, brother, it would be incredible to see you in Vegas because you are a huge, huge pillar of the support for this community and the blockchain basement. Get on the show, for God's sakes. I would love to have you on the show. Absolutely. Jesus. What a badass you are. So we're talking about, we've covered the weakness that actually is within China. We always are told about how much stronger China is to America. Honestly, they have a great veneer of strength. And the one thing that they have over us is manufacturing capacity right now, but it's not for the lack of IP rights from the United States not knowing how to produce the level that China does. It's because we've been choosing to let China and India produce for us. In the meantime, we've been gathering up some of the best minds and engineers across the world that want to live in America because the standard of living is so much better. So now that we've covered this, the real background of this, Mr. Besant, I think, is going to have a play. And I put a post out about this. He's the 5-star general with that experience of Black Wednesday. Things are about to get very, very wonky. And that's why I kind of started the show off with that note. If you are scared of uncertainty, this is not the place. Okay. We are going into a literal currency war. With it, it's going to get ugly. Rusty Bot highlighting China does have a higher life expectancy than the US, and that is absolutely true. It's been quite upsetting for me to see the the basic health of people in the United States deter. It's been aggravating for me to see the blue collar trades be spit on, and basically we've been losing this culture war where now you're looked down upon if you're in the trades. But guess what? If you're in blue collar, your ass is more than likely about to be automated through AI. So think about that. The blue collars will have the last laugh when this really is all said and done. So now, there is upgraded tensions. China, they came out with these comments that they are willing to negotiate these tariffs and continue the fight towards the end if the United States refuses to compromise. So they're willing to negotiate, but they're going to fight to the end. I really think they're going to have no choice but to negotiate, or Besant's going to put his foot on the lever of their real estate industry, and we're going to see a cascading effect. So with all this understood, I believe it is time to look into the markets, to look into what we should buy, okay? Because I'm on the market. I'm going to be buying some things. And months ago, I was like, I'm tailoring this down. I'm not speculating on any and all altcoins that look at a good buying opportunity, because I really think that many of these projects, if they're able to go to zero, now's the time that we're going to see a cascade. I've been very disappointed. I'm glad I got out of near at like $6 and protected my value to a degree. Holy shit, that thing. And moving into Ondo, under, like, it was Chainlink, and Ondo is my second biggest holding. I'm really glad about that. The aerodrome loss, I mean, it's not necessarily a loss, but it's a flat line, And then, but this is a lesson that I'm taking for myself and teaching myself. It's that when I did take those short-term profits that were to be had on aerodrome at $2, I still kept a good amount on the sideline, but buying at 18 cents and taking profits out at $2, fuck, that was a good move at this point. Like, because the market, I mean, we are in a new design of the system. And really, I think I'm agreeing with TJ that it's actually turning into a more longer term bull market. Or I should go this way, longer term bull market. But fuck, man, it is a whole new dynamic. Another thing crazy that I did see is Sahil. This is Sahil tagging all the biggest people he can, apologizing for being such a dickbag, for being such a jeet, and for stealing so much money from people by rug pulling products. I really don't even want to give this guy the limelight, but I will highlight that people like this need to be called out and warned against because he took advantage of quite a few different large accounts that were really out there to, just destroy the buying power. Like this is where like everyone talks about retail's broke. I think retail got stuck trying to chase those fucking meme coins and they got rug pulled over and over again. Just absolutely brutal. Government bowel movement tracker, skilled labor will be like gold, welders, tailors, HVAC. That's right, baby. Network installers and electricians. Think about electricians. Blockchain basement is only loss if you sell. Hold on. Aren't you concerned about short-term gains? Not really. If I have a 3 to 5x, fuck. I mean, what was that? The aerodrome was 10x. No, I'm not worried. I'm taking the profits. Holy shit. Absolutely not. And that fear, I've seen time and time again. It locked people into a cascade. They rode the altcoins into the bear market because they were afraid of paying taxes. Don't be afraid to pay taxes. Yes, I'm still bullish on Aerodrome. Absolutely, George. My last buy was at 50 cents. So that last buy is down. Overall, my average is like 35, 40 cents. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. Don't worry about paying taxes. Like if you have a 10x, you're staring at a 10x, take the profits, pay the taxes. It's not a big deal. Okay. These things are ebb and flow. Okay. I do want to highlight this. This is important. So Ben Grossman, I might need to give him a follow. Apparently he's the marketing guy at Ondo. So there you go. Live follow for you. Tokenization, a hot topic at the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to have a listen to this conversation because I really feel like Ondo is one of those products that we're seeing right now. It's in its infancy, but it has an immense amount of staying power, in my opinion. And the reason why Ondo, I feel like, has such great staying power and fundamentals beyond, just having all these connections with Biddle and yada, yada. We saw Paul Atkins. Where is Paul Atkins? This is such a good picture. Harry Squatter, Hermione Gaynor. What is this? Strong Weasley and Albus Dumbledore. Very nice. But Paul Atkins has been appointed. I'll go ahead and find the post here. Paul Atkins. I just need this off the top of my head. I have so many things I need to discuss on the show. Here we go. Okay, please. This is from Cynthia Loomis. Pleased to announce that Paul Atkins is confirmed as the chairman of the SEC. She sat down with Mr. Atkins to discuss digital asset legislation, empowering Wyoming's blockchain future, and implementing reforms and regulatory rulemaking processes. Confident his leadership will bring positive change. Mr. Paul Atkins was advising the board of Securitize, which was very integral to the rollout of Biddle and tokenized treasuries. And Ondo is right in the middle of that mix here. So this is why I think, and first of all, before Plume even launched, the homies, Jeff, and I think Jeff was the one that gave me and Veteran the heads up that Plume ain't nothing to fuck with. Plume is integrated with Ondo. Ondo's about to roll out its own chain. Plume, in my opinion, is going to look more like so we're going to have Ondo, tokenizing Wall Street. Plume is an equivalent to tokenizing, let's say, a Robinhood kind of auxiliary stock exchange platform. So Plume has been extremely strong and I think is actually well up from entry points here. Let's check it out. Let's pull this up. On the day, looking scary. You're down 7%. Overall, on the year, not bad. Not bad at all. And honestly, it's just testing these previous channel highs. With all the uncertainty, don't be surprised if we get another chance at around the 10, 13 cent range. But Plume is a good project that it's a small portion of my portfolio, admittedly. But it's at a $314 million market cap. There's a lot to be gained from something that's this hooked in. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. Absolutely. With all this, we've seen the tariff tug of war. There's something important to note. The chip manufacturing facility and the wafer manufacturing in Arizona It's only 10% more expensive to produce those chips in Arizona. So think about that. When everyone's like, oh, China's got you by the balls. Wrong. Taiwan Semiconductor has put a spot in Arizona so far. And also, they have kill switches in the Taiwan Semiconductor machines that make the damn chips to begin with that are based out of, I think it's Dutch engineers. So Dutch engineers, if they see China invade Taiwan and take advantage, take control of it, they can just shut the system down anyways. But we did see this. Their shares rose about 10% hitting limits. That was yesterday. You know what? Let's go look at their stock while I'm at it here. This is where it's so fun to have the knowledge of the larger economic sphere. I can talk some damn sense. Let's see here. TSMC. TSMC, run. TSM Global. I'm going to find it here. Let's go. Whew. This is on the monthly. Look at that jackknife. And it popped off that original spike. That's very interesting to see. Zoom in on the week. Man, what it's trying to bounce hard. You know what? TSMC might be a damn good one to look at, honestly, because they're already shown that they're integrating with America. They refuse to be captured by China. If they do, they'll just shut down their China operation. Ooh, that is actually kind of enticing. I haven't been enticed by stocks in a very, very long time. But lately, they're looking kind of juicy here. I do wonder what the Bitcoin dominance is looking like. Let's go look at the Bitcoin dominance here real quick. Just to make sure that there's no girth to that weekly candle, because that would be kind of scary for altcoins. The recent peak still below that previous one we saw in February. So that's a good sign. And it is just a generalized wick. Been kind of feeling this. I saw the bounce back on altcoins was pretty damn strong. Let's check out the markets right now. Share this tab. Market watch, we're at 78.9. Damn, is it already trying to bounce back that fast? You son of a gun. This is the pain of cover all the alpha. Not all right. Let's go and zoom in here. 15. Okay. So we're still all right. I can still get my trade in here. Let's look at the money flow. Still got the green dot there. Money flow on the 4 hour. Let's check it out. Showing still that red. We haven't had that good pullback yet. God, it was such a easy damn thing to do the long here. I'm getting the green dot on the fucking 4 hour. You just never get those things. You never get them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this. The money flow looking like it actually might be wanting to tick up here. Let's go to this. Bree, you should have told me. I'm so insane. All right, yeah, this money flow. We got the internal momentum wave that could easily clip back up to the upside, and the money flow looks like it's trying to clip up to the upside too. Ooh, this might be a nice shakeout to get one in. All right, so now back to altcoins. Let's see how the portfolio is doing here. Let's go. Aerodrome making a nice move still. It's up 7%, 35 cents. Moonwell trying to recapture that 2 cent mark. Ondo, God, what a strong ass. This is such a beautiful project. I am so glad that this thing is like second biggest holding, because this has been great. Be able to hold this over the last month with all this pain, uncertainty, and holding like a champ. Overall, insane buying spot still. Me and Jay Chains are saying I completely agree. Anything under $1 on Ondo's disgusting entry points in the long term. Let's see here. I want to see your guys' thoughts. You want me to look at XCN? You know, maybe I will. XCN. Let's go. Let's go check it out. You guys, give me your projects you want me to look at. I'll try to catch them all here. XCN. Onyx coin. God, I remember looking at this thing a while ago. What the fuck? It's up 70% today. What kind of crack are you smoking, XCN? What is this? Hell? Where am I? Hades. Let's see here. Wow. This thing is really trying to bounce back. Lot to gain, though, from its so it's not that sick from inflation. Most of its circulating supply is out. Okay. Is this just a I'm alive pump? over the week. Like, holy God, this thing has really come out. Let's go to the X. Let's go to the X. Onyx DAO, decentralized Web3 protocol. Let's see, what could it cost? Still not registered at XDN community forum, yada, yada, yada. Pretty bridge from XDN ledger. I mean, where in the hell is this pump coming from? I can see, I mean, because these posts are quite quiet. Look at these. 100 there, 128 there. I wonder where all this excitement is coming from. I mean, this is kind of, if we can get some, it fell below that original pump 2 moment. It is coming out of the woodwork swinging here. Holy shit. Yo, I lost it. Basement, good day. What up, XR Pete? Yeah. Oh God, is this the JP Morgan? Now, I remember, I thought the Onyx was just the blockchain. I didn't know, I don't think JP Morgan had come out with their own token. Let's go. We're gonna learn. Let's see if this, it might be people just speculating on that, thinking it's JP Morgan's token. Super Bridge. Let's see. We're just snooping the overall website here to kind of dig into what the hell this thing is. Because I remember the Onyx. Yeah, I mean, it is false, right, Kelly? Because JP Morgan, they have the Onyx blockchain, but they don't have a token that called Onyx for it yet. Maybe it's people just mistakenly thinking that it is the coin. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We got some other things I got to look at. Stepmom. God, you sick bastard, Sack Nasty. Is that an actual coin, Sack Nasty? I got to know. Berachain's been getting some notice. Let's go to Bera. Remember all those ETH nerds were all excited about it. Let's go here. So on the day, it's still up. That's great. Very down on the month. Year, lost that pump, that excitement pump. You know what, though? This is a very new token. It's got about 1/5 of the tokens out so far. Let's go to the token unlocks. The unlocks don't start till January 2026. So that's actually something interesting. It's going to be pretty much the supply that you have for the remainder of the year. And then the cliff begins. Let's see here. Berachain has captured some kind of mind share. I will say that. Interesting. This is an interesting buy point. For anyone that's crazy enough to buy projects of this, like, they might die, but they also might give you a quick 5x. You just got to take that into account. I've heard a lot of people that liked kind of like the DeFi side of Berachain. You had the initial like release pump and then the shelf that tried to be there. Then tariffs wrecked everyone's bags. And then you have that. So interesting. Something that I did take note of is that we've been watching World Liberty Fi pretty closely over the past few months, ever since it came out, honestly. Bullish on Isaac's mom. Jesus. Okay. Hold on. You know what? Don't think that you can escape just because he's busy, moving things. Don't think you can escape this. Okay.
You are banned!
That's right. Where are you at, Kelly Crypto Dude? Oh, no, you're escaping it short term. Son of a bitch. You got lucky. Maybe I'll ban you next time. Just remember. What will happen to Ondo ERC20 when they switch over to the new L1? I heard new Ondo is on Cosmos. No, it's on its own. The new Ondo is on its own chain, as far as I know. Now, maybe there's some integration with Cosmos I'm unaware of, or Cosmos, but as far as I know, Ondo's next integration is their literal own chain. There we go. Banned for me. Yes. Thank you. Excellent work, Mr. Mark. Yes. Now, let's see here. I'm loving reading the comments. I'm going through all you guys' comments. You guys are distracting in the best kind of way. So, what we have here. Let's see here. I got to make this window bigger. You know what? You don't know what you got until it's gone. Ethereum is not dead. It's oversold. $4.1 million in monthly dividends for BlackRock's Biddle just in the last month. Now 7 chains. with $2 billion assets under management. 89% goes towards the ETH allocation. The remainder is split across Solana, AVAX, and others. This is the thing: is Ethereum, we talk about Ethereum being dead. It's the price action of it, probably not going to be as bullish as last market. But you know what? There's still probably upside, and it is extremely built into what we talk about with these treasuries and tokenization of finance. Like Ethereum still reigns king. Okay, so let's just really, really think about that. Some moms are really, Ellie, you are unhinged. Hold on, Ellie, hold on.
You are banned! You are banned!
You know it, and then just so you know it happened. Now, Mr. Coinbase Duck. Never understood back then when people cheered on deflationary. You aren't Apple. You don't have a stockpile of cash to buy back or burn. You can't tax people via gas fees because making people pay $20 on a transaction will never scale. Some nuance to this. Biddle and BlackRock, they don't give a shit about paying these $20, $500 fees to move around billions of dollars of assets. They don't care. But for retail, that's why you see retail going to Solana, right? So there's some nuance to this. We're just got to be clear. The only way to build a use case on L2 so that people want to store value on is Ethereum, but these layer 2s on Ethereum, I think, are going to be opening that realm for high volume transactions, because we're talking about these treasuries and all these massive things. They aren't, done in a very fast back and forth transaction pattern. But for the products that are there, they're going to need that fast, high input, high throughput, and that's where the layer 2 comes in. The burn was never guaranteed. The burn was never promised. Missions at 8%. He's just highlighting Leon's comment there. One of the best accounts to follow for the nuance in this crazy crypto market to make sense of Ethereum for all these layer 2s, Coinbase Duck. So it's cbduck.base.eth. One of the best out there. So just when you're seeing all the FUD and all the uncertainty, I think that the system that is being overmade right now is a vast system. It's like an ecosystem within a jungle. You have thousands of different species, plants, thousands of different species of animals. With the same can be said for the ecosystem of finance. With all these monetary controls that you see, there is a big, big change coming to this world. And with it, there is room for quite a few of these different crypto products as long as they have a focused use case. How do I feel about XRP? I feel like it's going to $5 or $6 this cycle. The $10 XRP thing is probably not going to happen until like 2030, 2028. That's where I could see $1 trillion valuation on the market cap for XRP. But the flipping of the switch and moving trillions of dollars in XRP, please just understand that the best thing within the Ripple ecosystem, the Ripple IPO and the tech behind Ripple, that is good. And with the prices that XRP is at right now, $1.90, if it hits $5 or $6 in the next few years, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's a 3x or something like that. I'm just more of a vicious upside looker. Good morning. Hello, Crypto Princess. Good to see you. Thanks for the interview. If you guys don't get, go check out Crypto Princess's YouTube. I did an interview with her. You get kind of some sneaky details on the path that I've had to take here at the blockchain basement. I'm going to go find you on YouTube right now. I'm going to show your website thing to people because you know what? I like you. You're cool. Now let's go here. Crypto Princess. Princess. God, can I spell? Jesus. Okay. Let's pull this up. Here you are. Okay. So I'm going to share this tab instead. Go here. Guys, go give her some love. Okay. Crypto Princess. She's had 20,000 subscribers already. She interviews all kinds of crypto creators. There's my crazy story with my ridiculous looking face. She just got started up. She interviewed Redman, it looks like. Very, very cool. So go check her out. You know what I mean? Go check her out. Well, with that, I think it was a good show. But the main takeaway here is that do not be fooled about the tariff conversation. It's a tariff war. This is a literal currency war. Bretton Woods changed the monetary system forever. What Trump is doing is so cataclysmic that it is going to break markets if they do not bow to the new system. The new system is a Bitcoin-backed US dollar. The new system is USDC being used across the globe in the same way as we've seen the US dollar still being used by China to sell products online. They sell it in US dollar. Why? Because we're the fucking king. That's why. It's our main export. So when we see this, the United States is looking to back its dollar and hoist it up in congruence with crypto, tokenized treasuries, and Bitcoin. Bro, I'm hurting your feelings, not reading your chat. Where is your chat, Mr. Blakely? Where's the chat? Let me see. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I mean, maybe I do. But, I'm just, let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. What is it? Someone type it in there. I missed it. Where is this? I don't see your chat at all. What is this? Hell? They're psyoping me. While you look for that, Brianna, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. There's going to be a lot of fear. There's going to be some very, very scary days ahead of us. I see the system is collapsing into Bitcoin. The real winners are the people that are involved with Bitcoin and the best crypto products on the planet before this massive change happens. Okay. So with that being said, you have to be able to stomach massive downturns because it is going to be a war. This is a currency war. This is not a trade war. This is a currency war. We have a 5-star general that's got nasty experience in collapsing major financial systems before. They're probably going to do it again. Okay. So where is this? He wants to know where babies come from. Babies come from when a man and a woman go ahead and play Catan with each other for a little bit too long. They have a couple drinks. Things get out of hand. And all of a sudden, you're surrounded by children. He wants to know why there are no bananas in cream pie. God damn it, Father. Jesus, Murphy, Mary, and Joseph. So, with that being said, I just got flagged. God, it's all your fault. I love you guys. This is a great show. I'm really glad to be back. I'm glad I can speak today. If you are interested in taking the trades and riding the lightning with me, use our link. We have a great promotion going on with L Bank. The highest amount of volume wins some pretty awesome prizes. Also, we have links for 2Bit and BTCC. We have a great set of exchanges you can utilize, no KYC. Get in there and ride the lightning with me. Also, if you aren't cold storaging your crypto, anything that's not hot and trading out there, use the link in the description. And you get 10% off. You can get a Arculus cold storage device. It's about $90 when you take the discount off. This is the best way to become your own bank. This is the best way to enforce your sovereignty on the global macroeconomic system, because if they can't control your money, they can't steal your money, which is what it's all about. It's the only reason why Bitcoin has made it this far. I love and appreciate every single one of you out in the chat. Make sure to share the stream out. Let people know about the power. Okay, we have power in Bitcoin. Let them know the power is in their hands. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there. Be good to each other. Touch grass. And I'll see you on the next show. Take care.